Want to learn how people are creating communities to nurture their prospects and monetize those prospects all the way to 7 figures plus on Facebook? We've created personally with the GST, you can find us on Facebook, and with 2 other companies, multiple 7-figure businesses that use Facebook groups as the backbone to them. We've grown all 3 of those groups now, upwards of one has passed 6,000, the other 2 are now around 10,000 people, and we generate $100,000 to $200,000 per month in revenue using those Facebook groups as our sole thing. Now, this video that I'm about to show you is a quick 20-minute training that I did showing you guys the exact process, step-by-step process that I use specifically to grow those groups to where they are today and actually then monetize them. So I'm showing you guys exactly how I grew the groups and how we actually monetize those groups to multiple 7 figures. So if you think that that'd be useful, I want you to take a look, stay with me, let's dig in for 20 minutes and make some money. Now, as always, guys, I give these videos out every single week on this YouTube channel, and all I ask in return is one simple favor. Smash that subscribe button so that you're here when we actually drop the next one next week. We're giving away value here that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. How do I know that? Well, it's because we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars actually learning and implementing these exact strategies, and we ourselves in the GST program and other places have actually charged just as much money to sell this information to other people. And now I wanted to give back a little bit. So I'm giving a lot of it away right here for free every single week. So all you gotta do is smash the subscribe button, hit the notification button beside it, and get ready to get shit done. And if you feel like it, if you're wondering, hey, I wonder if I could get a little bit more knowledge from you guys, or what is the GST program all about? We actually have a link where you can book directly with myself and my team so you can speak to us to get our help. If you feel like that, it's below this video and it's also on the homepage of the channel. Otherwise, let's dive in. This is how we have grown 3 separate Facebook groups and monetized all of them beyond 7 figures. So if you're ready to get shit done, pay attention, get the notebook, and let's jump into the video. So today specifically, guys, we're going to be doing 2 things. One, this is going to be kind of a first step in a direction of a potential larger training. Okay. So really to get into the structure, promotion, and all of that kind of stuff for building and monetizing Facebook groups all the way up to 7+ figures would take a masterclass type session. So a bigger, broader type of thing. I'm thinking that we could do that in December within a couple of weeks and just do a bigger presentation on it. Today, we're going to lay some of the groundwork, roadmap, talk about it a little bit. Today specifically, I'm going to lay out a few things that we've done. Now, what have we actually done? Well, for both our agency and for our coaching program, we've actually either started from zero or acquired and monetized multiple groups now to 7 figures plus. For our agency, we have it for a real estate department that we ran and still run for a long, long time. Real estate ads that work. I think it's at about 5,000 members, and we've monetized it, multiple 7 figures plus per year, right? Per year. Okay. This one that you guys are in right now, coaching, right? We've monetized the GST group that you guys are in right now. I think we crossed 7,000 members recently. Double check. I'm looking at it. Yep. 7,000 members recently, right? And again, multi 7 figures. And then we've also got the Crusaders SaaS group, same thing, and I think it's 6K members, right? So all of this is just to say we've done it 3 times, so that's why we know what the fuck we're talking about. And excuse my French. If anybody's here is new, I'm from Canada. Occasionally the French comes out. My apologies. And so we've done it. And we do it systematically through a few different methods. And those methods is what I'm really going to talk about today, okay? Because there's really 3 major prongs to this kind of thing. It's the setup. So how you build your group, what you call it, what you put in the description, what you do for your questions, what you're doing as your welcome post, all of that kind of structural stuff makes a huge difference, not only to how you're bringing people into it, but also what you're doing with those people once they get in there. The second prong is what you're doing organically within the group. Meaning, are you doing content cycles? Are you doing outreach? Are you nurturing? Are you doing stuff like this right here, what we're doing right now, which is sticking to a schedule? And just, to be completely transparent, that's one thing me and Rahul have always been freaking miserable at, right? But we've been much better at it lately, because now, and part of the reason we even started the VIP thing was also to keep us accountable to doing this every Thursday. I want to tell you guys how we do it, okay? And the first thing I'm going to do is talk about what you need to do first. Okay, so what people don't, I think, realize when you hear the word SEO, search engine optimization, is that that actually does not only refer to Google. For some reason, everybody thinks that when you say the words SEO, it is only your website and it is only Google that you're trying to optimize anything for. And that is actually 100% incorrect. Now, why is that? Well, because everything is kind of a search engine. What do I mean by that? Well, the actual Facebook, right? If I go to Facebook right now, so if I go over to here and I'm looking at all of our faces here on live, and I'm looking at all your comments thinking that's pretty cool. Okay, cool. Well, what's this up here? What is this button? Oh, it's a search bar, isn't it? Interesting. So if I go up here and I go, I want to grow my agency. So I really need to how do I get, I want to build a 7-figure agency. That's what I want to do. Oh, hey, look what pops up, because what have we done? What have we done? Right? What about 7-figure agency? I don't know, marketing. I want to do some marketing and I want to create a 7-figure agency. Oh, look, there we are. What this is search engine optimization only for Facebook, right? And we have to consider that when we're building a group. A lot of it is going to come down to the actual name of the group. On top of that, some of it's going to come down to the description, and then some of it's going to come down to the type of people that you have in there. So when we're setting up our group, right, naming it is super important. So calling it, like if I'm a marketing agency and I call myself, for instance, we called our real estate group for our agency, right? We called it Real Estate Ads That Work. We did not call it, right, Rainmakers, because who the fuck would know what that is, right? If we named it Rainmakers, then people who are trying to make a lot of money in any single field, or who'd watched a couple shitty movies in their lives or whatever the hell, probably would have ended up in our group, right? Probably would end up coming about it. But because we called it Real Estate Ads That Work, right? Now, every single time somebody started to type in, I want to do Facebook ads for real estate, or group to learn real estate ads, right? And it'll pop up. I'm sure it might even still do it now. If I go over into Facebook, I go real estate ads. If I type that up and I go to groups, yeah, it's the first one on there. Now, I'm sure just like normal SEO, because it's my group, it probably pops up in the feed a little higher, but you guys get the point, right? So if you've ever done any kind of SEO at all, right? Keyword density. This is old school shit that doesn't matter as much anymore, but keyword density for your name, for your Facebook group name, is important. Okay. So why do you show up in people's feeds, right? Where can you show up? Let's call it this first. Where can your group show up? Well, Facebook search engine is one. We just went over that. SEO. Right. Also, you're going to see ones where you're going to do similar groups, okay, where it's going to be recommended. You'll notice that when you go into a group, you'll be like, hey, people who like this group also like to go into these other groups that are just like this, right? That is also SEO, but it also includes a portion of engagement, right? So when you go to join a group of any kind, you'll see something that says, it's had one post in the last 32 days or whatever the fuck it says, and it shows that information. That information is being used to determine, should I show this around, right? Because at the end of the day, something that I tell you guys a lot, for the reason people keep forgetting, right? What does Facebook actually give a shit about? It doesn't actually give a shit about how much money you're spending on the platform as an advertiser. It gives a shit about how much attention is being kept on their platform. They will reward you for engagement before they'll reward you for your money. You can think that that's dumb. You can think whatever the hell you want, but you don't work at Facebook and you don't get to pull the levers. And so it really doesn't matter what you think. What matters is that's how it works. Right? It rewards engagement. And so the more we can get people to actually engage in our group, the more it's going to show that naturally to everybody else's recommendations. All right. So step one, and the reason I'm harping on this so much, is really, really hone in your name. Don't make it a brand. Make it keywords that people are going to search that you can use to stand out. The second part of it is, and I mean this really, really nicely, learn to be okay with just talking to yourself. Because you need to have posts in your group. You need to have engagement in your group. You need to just do it. Be okay with it. When we launched all of our groups, the GSD one and the real estate one that we started from scratch, we just talked to ourselves. Now, there's a couple strategies that got engagement up really quickly that I'm going to go over in part 2 in a second, which is for the organic section. But in the very beginning, it's literally just post, go live, do shit that nobody's ever going to see. And be okay with it. I'd be happy about it because probably the first couple of times it's going to be shit. But you get to get that out of the way, right? Before anybody's even there to judge you. So you get to just talk to yourself and hone your messaging and do all that stuff. And then when you start to get eyeballs in there, it starts to go. Right? The second part of your setup here is going to be the description. All right. So we want to have a description. Now, the description should not be, I started this group because I'm awesome. You need to learn how awesome I am, and let's talk, right? This is an obviously hyperbolized version of what most of you guys do. Nobody gives a shit why you personally wanted to start this group.
Well, real quick to cut you off, he's basically talking about how I wrote our post when I did my post. So first mistake was me, and then we corrected. We corrected everything.
It needs to be. I mean, you guys have seen me. You look, if you haven't, go back a couple times beyond this. And if you're out there in Facebook land and don't know what I'm talking about, what we often do is a couple of weeks ago, I did a 30 days of content in under an hour session. And specifically, I wrote some long form content, at least one piece of long form content on that. If you don't have the link to it or you can't find that, drop a hashtag content down in the comments down below this live, okay? So that we can get you the link and we'll send it over to you. You're going to want to watch that because that's what I'm going to refer back to right now. I want to do a long form post like that, okay? So just like any other piece of copy that's going to work, this is going to be kind of like a hook, offer, right? Story, and then theme, offer. This is basically going to be the structure. All right. So instead of saying I started this group because I'm a 30-year vet and fuck you, you should listen to me. That's not what we want to say. We want to say something along the lines of I spent $50,000. I just wasted $50,000. What would I say for a hook? Let's go with it. Lit $50,000 on fire by hiring a coach who knew half as much as I did. So I decided to start this group and give away more than that for free to you, right? Hook. Hey, and what am I saying in that? I'm saying, hey, I got tired of all the bullshit out there. I realized that the shit that I have in my head is better than what they have. And by the way, I'm going to give it away to you for free so you can stop wasting. Then you tell a story below that. So you've got both the hook. You could even put something like an offer here, but I wouldn't. This is even just the hook, right? Then you go into a story about whatever I just said. So, hey, I was here. I got stuck for a while. I figured all these gurus I was seeing online looked like they knew what the hell was up. So I paid a bunch of them a bunch of money, realized they were idiots. And I'm a bigger idiot because who's the idiot? The guy that doesn't know his shit or the guy that bought all of their nonsense, right? And I want to save you that trouble. Getting to the theme. I want to save you from being me, right? Theme. What does theme always mean when we do the content calls, guy? Theme means we're connecting the dots. Right? So I'm saying, hey, you're just like me, or you were just like me, and I want to save you. That's the theme, right? You're saying, hey, so now I did this thing to make sure that you don't have to do it. And you can make an offer on this point if you're just starting your group where it says, if you want some information without having to spend $50K on crap from people who just learned and started it yesterday, you want to get this going now. Instead, click here to join my free training that I do every single week, and let's talk, right? And now you can transition it. So now you've got a description, and drop a 1 in the chat or in the comments, guys, if that makes sense. I want to hover on that for a second because that's super important. Keep going then. So you guys get it. So now we got the name, all right, and we've got the description, both of which serve a purpose. Okay. God, I hate when people set up these groups and they don't think it through. You name it your own brand. Rahul, I don't have hostability. Can you mute people, please? You name it your own brand, and by the way, nobody knows the brand or gives a shit, so that's fine. Instead of naming it something that matters for SEO, you create a description that's rah-rah, right? You're being the hero of the story. And if you've not realized that you can't do that yet, go read what is it called? Story Brand by Donald Miller. Great book for all of you aspiring copywriters out there, and learn why that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So you're going to figure out how to do the title. You're going to do a description that makes sense. And then what are we going to do next? We're going to ask questions, membership questions. All right. And I'll show you the structure of ours. They're we just revamped them recently, but the point is to understand a few things. What best describes you? Well, why are we doing this questions? Because we are working with specific people and we want to know which of these is the ones that's actually going to be. So we've got our strategy honed in so that I trust that most of the people are coming in are agency owners or coaches, right? So we're using this one to get a little bit of market research out of the way. 2, give them something. Give them something they want. Whatever your best 2-step lead magnet training, whatever it is, give it to them. Why? To get emails. Why would we not be gathering and building a list if we're also putting in all the time to actually build a Facebook group, right? So in ours, it's going to be a 15-minute training VSL that we just set up. We're launching and we're going to be giving it to them so that they can figure that shit out. And step 3, give them a prompt to see if they might want your help. Imagine that. What do I say to guys all the time? If you want more sales, make more offers. Start more conversations. I don't know why people are terrified of saying, hey, I'm good at this shit. Would you like to see if I could be good at this shit for you? Right? It's scary. It's uncomfortable, but we only grow when we learn to live in the uncomfortable place. One of my favorite sayings nowadays, because it's something that people just aren't willing to do. And it really is the difference between a business owner that succeeds and one that doesn't. Now, those 3 questions, again, you're going to see are set up specifically what to figure out what kind of person they are, to get their email and build our list, and then 3 to prompt them to see if we can just already start a conversation with you and see if something we have might be a good solution for a problem you're currently encountering. Let's help you now. Let's get the bullshit out of the way and just, hey, do you want some help? We're good at this shit. Do you want some help? Oh, cool. Let's talk and see if we can help you, right? Simplifies the process. It creates less friction in the medium, right? Then that's what we want to make sure that we're doing all the time. If we do those 3 things, right, now we've set up the group to be able to attract more people through SEO for the group setup, through engagement processes to get us out into the recommended groups and pages. 2, we've created a description that tells a story, gives a hook, and gets people attention right away. And 3, we've created questions that can enhance and begin conversations right at the beginning of it. So now we've built a group. What the fuck do we do with it now? Oops, spoke French again. What do we do with the group now that we built it? Well, we got to, get some people into the group. All right. So what do we do now? Cool. Let's figure that part out. Well, we do a few things. 1, the best way, in my opinion, to kickstart a group off is a free 3-day challenge. Most of you guys, actually from the VIP, a lot of you guys came from a free 3-day challenge. And you know what we did with it? We do these things called pop-up groups for each one, right? Pop-up groups. But what you should do for your first one is just go straight directly to your group, okay? 2 or 3 reasons. 1, every time we do one of these free 3-day challenges, we fill up our pop-up group with at least 150 people. One of our pop-up groups right now has about 300. So if you're sitting around wondering, how do I get my first couple hundred people? How do I go from 0? I got nobody to talk to. This is how you fucking do it, because people will come in. They want the information, they want the challenge, and you're going to host that in the group. You're going to host it in your free group. So you got to go there, because that's where the replays are going to be. That's where these extra special bonuses you'll give away are going to be. And that's where the homework threads are going to be, right? Which brings me to part number 2, when we're talking about engagement. How do we get this group from 0 engagement all the way up to 100 super, super fast? Well, we prompt people. And I mean, how many of you guys have seen me bribe you guys to do something for engagement? Raise your hand. Go ahead. Yeah. And it works really well. And every one of the people, especially the ones I just saw raise their hand, they all took the bribe and loved it. Okay. Because it's a good bribe. I give away good shit. But every single time I'm like, okay, cool. I want to give people something, but I want a couple extra likes or comments or something in the group. Today, it's been a slow day. So I'm like, okay, here's the carrot, right? Go do the thing. And it gets done. People will do it. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, look, if you want something, just ask for it. Why is that so hard? You want a testimonial? Your client is happy in the moment. Take 2 seconds and say the words, will you give me a testimonial? Then when they don't give it to you 2 days later, say, hey, you have not given me the testimonial. Sometimes shit is a lot simpler than we all make it out to be. You just have to prompt and ask. right? And so in this situation, it's using the 3-day challenge inside of the group, which is not going to be a pop-up group, but you're using the pop-up strategy. And you're saying at the end of each day of the 3 days, you have a homework thread. And that homework can be as easy as saying, what's your biggest takeaways from this day? But if you're also doing like content, you're like, cool, write a piece of content, drop it here for review. If you're doing paid ads, you say something along the lines of, create your first ad, drop it here for review. And what does that do? You create a thread or you create a bunch of posts. Now you get a bunch of comments, a bunch of posts, a bunch of engagement inside this group. Now this prompts Facebook to say, holy shit, what's going on in this group? Oh my God, they just went from 0 to 100 really quick. Okay. All of a sudden we've got comments, we've got posts. Look at all this shit. Let me go show this to other people. They must be having a great time inside this group. Other people will probably want to have a great time too. So let me send this around the internet, show it to other people and get them plugged in. Right. So the 3-day challenge, best way, in my opinion, to get your first couple hundred people, your first, let's say 1 to 300 members, best way to jumpstart engagement, best way to start your community. Okay. And once it's jump started, once you've got it going on, and this is what we're talking about right now is pillar 2, right? So pillar 1 was the setup. Pillar 2 is organic growth, right? So first day challenge, jump start your community, right? And we've got part 2 of this is going to be weekly live trainings. Now, again, if you have it on a schedule, people will show up. And if you do it consistently and do it valuably, people will come. So what's the process to this? You're going to do a hype post, right, on like a Tuesday, right? Then you're going to do a event setup post, hype live on Tuesday, event setup / hype post Wednesday. And this is just a basic structure. And then you're going to do an actual live training on Thursday. This is what we do. I'm telling you, this is exactly what we do. Now, people on this, they comment, right? And they engage. And then people on this, they comment and they hit going, right? And then over here, what do? We tag them all. And then they see. All of this creates engagement. And if you do this good, you can then do a replay 2-step on profile and group. So now you've got basically a whole week worth of content. You could almost just cycle through this every week and not have to ever think about anything ever again. And you're getting daily posts. You do this along with the conversion and teach them how to think content that you should have gotten on a couple of weeks, right? A couple of weeks back. Again, if you have not seen that training, please drop a hashtag content in the comments down below the lives in the video, because that one was really good in my personal opinion, right? But you need to be using that to make that happen. So now we've got this, jumpstarting the community, getting it up here. This, getting us engagement consistently and pulling people in, because we can hit our list with this. We personally email our email lists every time this happens, and we get a bunch of people that come in to the group requests who haven't joined the group yet. So it gets it filled up. And then finally, we want to do group invites. Now I know, this is scary. I saw on the internet one time, somebody freaked out because people kept inviting them. Every time they accepted a friend request, they got an invite to their group. And I don't want people to treat me like that. I really need you guys to just, how many people troll me every single day? But I also then get to show up to a community like this, where you guys got to hear 3 or 4 or 5 people, pat us on the back and say they really fucking appreciate us. And one thing that really should stand out to you, and big shout out to this girl, Megan, right? What did she say? I have no fucking clue how I ended up here. I don't know who you guys are. A month or 2 ago, you would have been complete strangers, right? And that's what we're saying here. Yeah, some people you're going to get pissed off. But I mean, it's a cliche, and I'm not going to take credit for saying this. I want to give it to whoever it was that said it originally. I can't remember, right? But when a person reacts negatively to something that insignificant, that means that they're going through something. It has nothing to do with the group invite that you sent or the DM that said hi. It's super easy for that person to just ignore that if it bothers them that much. If they went out of their way to decide to take a giant flip out and freak out at you and shit all over you for that small act of a thing, remember to yourself and think that, they're going through some shit and it has nothing to do with you, and it should have no effect on anything that you're doing. I say all of this because you need to do it. So get over it. Now, we need to send group invites. All right. What we're doing as part of our organic strategy always is trying to build audience. Build audience means, yes, we're going to add friends. So if we're doing the correct thing, we're adding 30 to 50 targeted friends per day. Now, when we do this, right, and we're getting the right people, if you go to your group, I'll go to one of mine right now so I can show you guys. Right? If I go to your group, go over to here, you'll see an invite button. Now, this invite button, when you do this, right, so invite Facebook friends, these people that populate up at the top here are going to be the newest friends that you've added. So these are the newest people I have added, or my setter has added on my profile, that have accepted my friend request. Super important to realize this, okay? Because why this matters is that if you're doing the adding friends correctly part, even if you have an old group of old friends that maybe you don't want to add to your group and you only want your targeted people, right? Then you cycle through this consistently every day. You know you'll be adding the right people. So you get adding now 30 to 50 group invites, sending 30 to 50 group invites per day, right? You do this for a while first, and you get it so that you're getting this many accepted friends every single day, and then you're inviting them all, and you're getting those new targeted people that you've been bringing in consistently. So now you're consistently inviting these people in. You'll get a group of them in every day. You'll be getting some from your SEO. You'll be getting some from your group invites, and you'll be getting some from your emails because you're hitting your list consistently with these trainings you're doing all the time. You're consistently bringing everybody into the group. You're leveraging lists to build other lists. So I always want you guys to be thinking of your marketing as a congruence thing, right? One thing should flow into the other. I don't spend my money on Facebook to get an email. I spend my money on Facebook knowing I'm going to get an email and a phone number that I'm also going to put into a chatbot list, that I'm also going to put into my Facebook group, that I'm also going to add as my friend and eventually move over to TikTok and somehow get onto Instagram. And now they're everywhere. And even though that's one person, that's a number on every one of those lists. I'm growing all that shit. I'm filling all those buckets up, right? I don't want to fill one bucket up and rely on one source. I want to consistently bring everybody to everywhere else.
If this is new information for you guys, it's going to be a water hose, and it's intended to be so. So don't get overwhelmed and think you got to go dive in, do every single step. It's just going to be step by step. It's going to be the journey. Because when we started our Facebook group, the first one, like one of the mistakes Cody pointed out was literally said, I started this Facebook group because, and it was all about me, not about anybody else. I didn't think that far through. So everything's going to have an incremental journey to just improve. So step one, if you do want to build a Facebook group, is get the name and understand your avatar and build it around your offer, right? So if you guys are ads people, like do something around ads to your niche, to your offer. So you can tie the people and the avatars to be congruent to what you even can possibly help them with. We didn't think any of this shit through. And now that history, those mistakes, you guys have now paid for. You paid the $7 for, you paid the $47 a month for. Don't make that shit, because we probably left. I can't even quantify the money we left on the table because we don't want to bring the tissue papers out. But those little things are so fucking stupid that smart guys like Cody and our team were like, we fucked it up, and now we have to fix it, right? So you guys don't do that, because the pot on the fire is hot. Let's not put our hand on it. Anyways, all right, continue on. So pillar number 3.
Pillar number 3. So what is pillar number 3? Paid traffic. Okay. And now, why do we do things? I always do this way, guys. You'll see a lot of these trainings and all this shit. We're going to start talking a lot more about paid traffic because, I mean, some of you guys know this, but I run the marketing departments for some big people and or have trained their people and or have scaled them in the past. And so we're just going to start talking a little bit more about that. But in order to get that and be ready for that, to be able to scale to 7 figures plus using that kind of shit, you have to do this other stuff first. Set up your shit correctly, like we did when we went over with the group stuff. Create organic growth and engagement, also to validate, right? And congruent and all of that kind of shit that we're going on. And then once that's done, once that's ready, then you can blow that shit up with ads, right? Because I've said it before, ads are kind of like, you know, getting a person drunk. If that person is already a dickhead, when you get them drunk, what are they going to be? A bigger dickhead. Right? It's an amplifier. It is what it is. The same thing with ads. If you pour a bunch of money of ads into something that's broken, an offer that doesn't work, it's just going to not work and break faster. Everything's going to go to shit and you're going to burn a lot of money. So don't do that. Right? But if you did the first two pillars correctly, like we've laid it all out for you, well, guess what? Now you can start to light shit on fire with ads. Okay, so we got pillar number 3, ads. Okay, and when you're doing any ad structure, you want to always have a few things, right? Top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. For our purposes, middle of funnel, nurturing, is going to be the group. Okay, that's it. The whole point is to use top of funnel to drive people into the group itself to nurture, and then this down here to get booked sales calls or start conversations. These ones are easy, right? This one is going to come way later. You're usually going to be doing either some sort of a direct DBO, VSL, power offer campaign, or you're going to be doing testimonial stuff. Super easy. We can go over this on another day. That's going to be easy to do. The group itself is all supposed to be for nurturing, right? So what we're doing in here, right, is the lives, is the community, right? We're just giving shit away, man. We're filling up the value bucket, right? Everybody wants to take, but we got to, what are you supposed to take from an empty bucket? You use the group to fill it up. You use the group to develop the relationship, to really get people to know, like, and trust you, so that you can then eventually, when you ask for something, they're like, of course, I want to pay you money. I can't believe I haven't paid you money for this already. That's where you want to get their mindset. That's where you want to bring them to, right? So the more complicated thing becomes the top of funnel. So now we actually currently run at least four large marketing departments, and we're actually doing a few different things in each one for group growth. So I'm going to review a few different strategies, not in depth. Again, we can hold that off for the masterclass. And if you guys want that, again, drop a hashtag group growth or just a hashtag group or whatever in the comments on Facebook. If I get enough, we'll dive into this a little bit more in depth. But specifically, what we're doing, chatbot, lead form, redirect funnel. Now, depending on the assets that you have set up, there's different expense variations that you're going to get. So something as simple as like a lead form, right? Do you want a phone number or do you not want a phone number, right? Now, why does this matter so much? Well, if you get a phone number, it's usually going to at least add 33% cost to your leads. Now, that's perfectly fucking fine if you have a setter team, right? That's calling all those leads, booking calls on those leads, and going to monetize the shit out of that. In fact, I would highly recommend, if you do have the ability to have somebody actually calling these leads and monetizing them properly, that you 100% just bite the bullet, accept the 33-ish% extra cost that it's going to be to do it, and just do it, because you'll make some more money. Monetize that shit. Be okay with it. Everybody wants the cheapest lead, but what you should be looking for is the best cost to quality ratio. That's what you should be wondering about. How do I monitor that? How do I decipher that? That's what you need to be finding. So the ones that we do a lot of, however, are just a simple email right now directly to the group on the thank you page of the form, plus emails to drive them to the group, plus, like I mentioned, the emails, weekly emails for the lives, right, and master classes. This is easy to monetize and really cheap if you don't have a setter team. If you do have a setter team, then ask for the phone too. And the only additional thing you're doing with the phone is you're having the setter call and set those phone numbers. Additionally, to be able to monetize that on top of what you're doing in the group. Super easy to understand, super easy to follow. And if you also get the phone numbers, you also do the SMS asshole text thing right at the beginning, which is an SMS database reactivation thing that you can do consistently over time so that you can set more of those appointments. Chatbot is lead magnet normally, lead magnet, and then straight to group. And what are we doing with the group? We're putting them in the guides. So we specifically right now, we run an ad vault campaign, a content calendar campaign, a script campaign, and a few different training campaigns that we've done on these that have been really good. We run chatbot campaigns to all of those. All right. And all they do is they're all housed in the guide. Super easy, but just the chatbot says, join the group, go here in the guide. Boom. Gets them in the group, gets them asking the questions, gets them in the nurturing system. The other thing that the chatbots allow us to do, twofold. One that we really like is they allow for filter, right? So we actually ask, are you, it's a little bit better of a question than this, but are you a coach or agency, right? If they say no, if no, sorry, go away. right? Basically, it just drives them away like that. And that's the end of it. So we don't fill up our group with crap, because in these other forms of things, you can end up with having the people who are incorrect on there, right? So when they do that, and it also allows our setters to do follow-up, convos, and set. So these two specifically we use for the GSD more than the redirect funnel, specifically because we have the setter team in place and we want to give our setters more conversations to house. Both the chatbot through the page itself and the lead form through the ads or through the actual phone numbers that we're collecting allow us to go in and set those conversations. So it's super important, right? We're getting a lot of that shit done. The redirect funnel is literally, you have an opt-in page in a funnel that goes to a auto redirect. You can do this through simple CSS code to the group. So instead of them having to click a button or do any of that shit, they just opt in and it auto redirects them to the group where they then join the group. Super, super easy to set up. And you can do that kind of shit in like high level and a bunch of other stuff, right? These are the three things that we're doing to grow groups at a very extensive rate. And you're seeing anywhere from $5 to $20 per group join if you're tracking it correctly, right? And you can do that through software like Hyros, or if you want to, you can set it up through like Data Studio and that kind of shit. Super easy to do. Being able to do this, now we can grow the shit out of our group, right? So we just talked about how do we monetize that organically? How do we monetize that through bottom of funnel stuff, right? Now, if we do this correctly on the top of funnel with these systems, we're able to then nurture them, monetize them, and make 7 figures. And that's specifically what we do for all 3 of the groups that we have right now. Thank you so much for spending the time to watch that amazing training. Like I mentioned previously, my intention is for you not just to watch that training, but if you got something out of it, if you think this information is useful, I want you to continue that journey with us. And you can do that in a couple of ways. One, I want you to smash that subscribe button so that you get notified every single time we put another one of these out, which will be at minimum once to twice per week. The other thing I want you to do is go ahead and click that next video right there beside you so that you can dive in and get shit done. Hope to see you out there.